Hello, everybody. What's up? It's your boys, Standard Prez and Shark. I forgot to change that, so we're gonna do that in the background real quick. Um, but yeah, this is actually Shar and Matt, by the way. And today we're right back at it again with some more fun RMUC content. Matt, what have we been seeing so far? What's some stuff you've really
We've been
enjoyed?
seeing a lot of action. We actually saw some pretty dirty play yesterday as we saw a red card come across for, I believe it was RoboWalker on 3SC. Whenever 3SC's Sentry had fallen off the curb, one of their standards was about to join, or one of their standards had fallen off the curb. Their Sentry was about to join him,
Hmm.
autonomously falling off the edge and was like halfway off. And then RoboWalker slammed into the back of him and pushed him off, getting him a red card. Well deserved red card at that. Not allowed to be intentionally running into robots, especially running them off the edge, as that can cause physical damage, which can persist through the round. So never a good thing. But yeah, and I think a lot of the teams that we're seeing are coming with that kind of an attitude, though, just kind of like bold and brash and ready to get at it. Because we saw a whole lot of base destruction yesterday as well. A lot of really good teams competing up against another batch of really good teams,
Yeah.
and a lot of sometimes technical difficulties from some teams, but varied performance all around and very fun to watch for sure.
Absolutely. I actually remember Tuesday we also saw a red card from I forgot what team it was, but it was the really funny match that me and Preston had watched where like both teams were just doing absolutely insane things. One hero was like getting up into the enemy base on their side and chunking balls at the base. The other hero was like playing the most passive long sniping game I've seen in my life, and both were bad. Neither were good is the thing. And it was
Uh,
awesome to watch. Oh, I absolutely adore that kind of stuff. Anyways, we're going to move forward then into today's matches. The first one we have on the docket is, speaking of the team, we've got Dynamic X and TDT for match 81, transitioning now. All right, let's get started, Matt.
TDT, we've seen TDT be pretty good. Their dart launcher be pretty good. Their aerial be pretty good, despite it not being that large. But
Oh, yeah.
TDT is definitely a team I expect to see at least in the top four. So we'll see how good is it. Dynamo,
Dynamic X. Dynamic X is on the left. Dynamic X I've seen a little bit
Dynamic
of.
X, Dynamic X.
They are I think they're like a mid-level team in my opinion. Nothing particularly stands out. Their hero is solid. It's not amazing. They have good strategy. No robot really like super stands out or is like, I'm gonna destroy you. But they're not a bad team by any means. I mean, no team at this point is gonna be bad. We're in the like last like
Yeah.
20-ish matches. All of them are gonna be good. Speaking of, Matt, do you have Google Translate ready or do I have Google
I
Translate
do,
ready?
but I believe on the right side is just talking about the different drivers and their team names.
Yes.
However, on the bottom, that's talking about the technical citations that teams have written. So there's an open source citation list on the bottom. That's that 13 number, um, as well as the other. All of those are just citation, open source citation access for all the different teams. And so Dynamic X having written a lot of technical reports that are open source for a whole bunch of different teams to use, as we can see TDT also in a similar boat with a pretty decent number. I mean, you see a lot of new teams or first couple year teams that don't have any open source citations yet because they're largely using the open source technologies that the other teams are also providing, which is how we see kind of like the proliferation of balancing standards, for example, happen really quickly, across many different teams rapidly. And that's not usually something you're able to see, in like an industry whenever people are competing with ideas and try out a whole bunch of different new stuff.
Look
It's
at that
not often that you see it
sentry. Did you see that sentry,
that
by the way?
varied.
Like, going back and forth. Sorry to interrupt you, but you see
Yeah,
that
yeah.
sentry looks really
TDT's
weird.
TDT's sentry loves to roam. That's actually a strategy we've seen them use. Is that their sentry at about like 4 minutes left will go and attack the base. But
Oh.
also at the very beginning, it is chomping at the bit to get let off the leash and get ready to go in the match, because it will always be bouncing in and out of the starting zone until just the last second, and it'll stay there and it won't get a red card.
Interesting. That's scary. That's a scary thing to hear personally. As someone, if I'm Dynamic X, I would be scared. This engineer is pretty solid as well. 3.3 difficulty, 10.6 seconds average for each match, 1,275 gold. Nothing crazy we've seen like some of the other ones, like we saw with Scut. like we've seen with Robo Walker. Those sentries are those engineers are absolutely insane. And econ is very, very important, especially as a scaling resource, as Preston would say.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm excited to see what ends up happening in this match. We get a little view at the audience. We need to get more audience, Matt. We need to have more audience views like this, so they can hold up signs and be so excited, like they wave at the camera. I want this.
Well, yeah, and the stadium is so big that this competition is held in. I believe it's actually one of the soccer stadiums for China, one of the premier soccer stadiums that they're able to take over and retrofit for all things RoboMaster.
Damn. As the bases are closing up, Matt, and we're spewing our wishes to what we wish RoboMaster to become in the U.S. as well. Who do you think's gonna take it, Dynamic X or TDT? Who do you got?
I don't know. I don't think I've actually seen Dynamic X and been the one behind the camera on it. So matches, but I think TDT would favor it, and that's just because I'm also a TDT fanboy.
We'll find out as we bring on the bots. Both engineers heading straight for the silver cubes. And a sentry going up that left side for Dynamic X. Both drones are out. We're getting the power rune coming across for TDT immediately, very quick.
Yep.
To grab that. That's going to give them an extra defense bonus as they go into this first couple of seconds here, taking over the central point as well. They have all the control currently of the map. Look at the shots fired from that hero plus drone. My God, the outpost already at half health. It is like lasering down that outpost.
Yeah, well, and it's also got the damage buff too from the power rune, so that's double damage per projectile, which is huge on the aerial.
Absolutely, you get so many projectiles to work with. We're seeing confrontation in the top left of your screen. Both standards will go down. That sentry getting involved a little bit there as well from the Dynamic X. Pretty even match so far outside of the outpost, I would say. Like robots seem pretty relatively similar.
Well, unfortunately, this is where TDT puts the pressure on, as well as the dart hits. TDT's darts are really good as we get a second target coming across with a whole bunch of hero shots to follow it up.
That was 2 out of 4 darts hit. That's an insane stat right there. A couple more shots in that base will be exposed. Really?
Oh, but TDT has fallen. Their robots are able to get up, especially their balancing standard.
That's the sentry, though, that's fallen over. That's the sentry that's fallen over, the very aggressive sentry. However, their hero is the objective player. And so I assume that this will not be too much of a hindrance for them as we're seeing those shots coming across. Not yet counting for much except for 1 piece of damage. All right, there we go. Now we're getting some damage across the field.
Dynamic X would be the first team if they get this power rune to get a power rune on TDT. TDT always prioritizes the power rune. I'm surprised to see that it is Dynamic X that's going to be the first team to outdo the TDT in a power rune battle.
And they're immediately going to use that to take out the blue standard 3 that was harassing their hero. Their hero barely surviving, moving away from that sniping position.
TDT's hero's got all the time in the world, though, and is just kicked back on the beach as he now dials in. There it is, 150. Ooh, that's actually a huge deep base defense buff. It seems like if the engineer is within the starting zone, the base gets a defense buff and takes half damage. It was only 150 damage from the sniper shot. That's usually 300.
Both standards going, knocking each other out in the top right corner of your screen. A little bit of a after death kill there for the blue standard. Instant revive also coming across. TDT using their econ to make sure that their robots stay active and are in this fight, knowing they need to take as much space as possible. That hero landing 2 shots on red standard 4. It's almost out of the game already. Firing back, taking away the blue hero. Coming in with
airdropping the health pack. Gonna go take some time to maybe level up on the down sentry. No, going back up the top road. Probably just trying to defend as the hero is going to be trying to get in position for Dynamic X. They need a lot of base damage to make up this deficit. 4 minutes left, by the way. This is crazy.
Definitely doable within 4 minutes. The game pace has slowed a bit, and as I say,
the hero! The hero's shooting! The hero's hitting shots on the base!
Another defense buff coming across for Dynamic X as they have taken the power, and so has TDT. I did not know you could take them at the same time. Both teams now will have that buff back on each other.
But Dynamic X's base is falling, and there it goes. The hero was actually slightly outside, farther back on the sniper position, shooting projectiles. We weren't able to see him because usually the overlay, I think, only tracks if it's in the zone. But it was not enough in the zone that it was giving them the indication. So it was invisible hero shots were just doing the last 1,800 bit of that damage to the base.
I think the really interesting thing here from this match, Matt, was that these teams looked very even, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
That was not a stomp in the way you'd expect. Oh, yeah. I think that TDT ended up just taking the center control a bit faster and thus had more room to play with their robots. But as we'll see in the stats coming up, the econ was the exact same. Dart launches from TT were more, sniper launches, like the hero really I think was the playmaker here, but it had the time to set up, which Dynamic X's hero did not have the same amount of time or grace. Eliminations are the same, and I think we see that 48, the 42 projectile difference, the 48 versus 9 projectile shot is really what made up the difference there. I don't know, what do you think, Matt?
Yeah, it kind of just goes to where you spend the money. Are you spending the money on the projectiles that are going to do damage to the other robots, or the projectiles that are going to do damage to the base? Unfortunately, the only killing the other robots can only get you so far. As we see that, I mean, like the damage difference wasn't that much, right? But it was 3,600 and pretty much the way you'd expect in base damage, not
All
in
in
kills.
base damage. Yep. Those 2 darts were absolutely amazing as well. I don't think they
Yeah,
needed the darts, honestly.
1,200 damage. It does do a pretty good
It is
dent in
significant.
that, just from an untargetable
I do
robot that
think one
apparently
of those darts
have
counted as
50%
300 though, if I saw that replay correctly.
Usually the heroes will be shooting at the same time, and it kind of
Yeah.
looks like it. Yeah, Dart MVP with 2 hits, as
Yep,
well as the
yep.
hero with 50%, 56% accuracy.
Not
That's
bad at all.
crazy.
Not bad at all. That's a high level accuracy for even for the national competition. We see that on the top like 8 teams max. And so really solid play from TDT. What adjustments, Matt, should Dynamic X make to win it this round? I think it's definitely possible. But what adjustments
Oh, it's
do you think it
100%
needs to be?
possible. They need to focus on actually hitting the base. All they have to do is the allocation of projectiles, right?
Yeah.
They just didn't give their hero enough projectiles. They airdropped their standards health. I don't think that's exactly the move you need to get. It might feel great in a pinch to just be like, oh, we push the hero off. But if he comes back with more projectiles and you have to leave because you run out because now you don't have projectiles because you were too focused on health in an even economy matchup, that's a bad move.
Oh yeah. We see here this hero is actually 3rd place for the amount of projectiles that are launched every game. And 44% accuracy is also not bad at all. So the heroes are very comparable, I think. I think this hero can definitely make up the damage differential that TDT
I believe
made
that's
against
hits
it.
on the base from the sniper position each game.
Yes. You are
Not
correct.
just launched.
Yeah.
nine launched and 9 hit would be pretty good, though.
That is 100% accuracy, I would say.
Yeah, some would say.
I think most would say, actually. 9 launched and 9 hit, that is 100% accuracy, objectively so. But yeah, this sentry is very interesting. We didn't really comment on it during the matches, but both sentries got really involved on the enemy team side. They were both like moving in and out. They were bobbing and weaving in position.
Oh yeah, if you haven't gotten to witness the TDT sentry going all the way into the base to do the last bit of damage.
True. He was knocked over in the last round.
Yep.
The bases are closing up. I do think that Dynamic X can definitely bring this back. I think TDT is still the favorite here just because, again, they seem a little bit more... they play a little bit faster, more aggressive, and I think that they can make up the differential, especially if that sentry is working. Like, that's a huge boon for them. But we're about to find out as the referee system initializes. In
Dynamic
5,
X in the
4,
red, TDT in the
3,
blue.
2, 1, bring on the bots. Both engineers again going for the silver cubes. The hero going into its sniping position with the sentry defending it this time. Red Center 3 is on the center, buff point playing a little bit more aggressively. TT does get the power rune, however.
10 seconds power rune. That's their average that they usually go for, as that outpost quickly crumbles with the aerial and the hero just hammering it.
Red Center 3 also goes down thanks to the sentry. The sentry's also helping out on the outpost, actually. That was very interesting to watch.
Yep.
It beats up Red Center 3's dead body just for fun as it goes in now to attack on the red side. All the blue bots are here. What the heck? Everyone's here.
Well, look at that movement. You're telling me that's a robot? Look at bobbing and weaving and bobbing and weaving.
Both
dodge,
sentries
dodge,
are
dip,
down.
dive, dodge.
Dynamic X's sentries are both down. The hero is currently cowering in its base, unable to leave. As TDT lands a dart and starts landing some for hero projectiles as well.
You can hide in the trench, but the artillery's still going to strike as 2 darts land. Almost a third. One more dart for this volley.
Counts as 1.
And it hits the base for 1. How insulting.
Unfortunate.
Look at the bottom right-hand corner. You can see the engineer having to put into the receptacle.
Blue Center 3 and Blue Center 4 coming in now to attack the engineer and the sentry. They're not letting up any pressure. However, they will get taken out by Red Standard 3. Will Blue Center 4, however, get away now by himself? I think he will in this particular situation. The Standards know they have a better target to go for. As the blue power rune comes across for TDT, Both standards now targeting that blue hero who's running away. Will he get out? I think he will. He's inside his reload supply zone. And the blue drone is also attacking. Both standards unable to complete their mission. Running into the blue engineer there, almost falling off. Oh no. Resident 4
off.
Resident 4, no!
The tires
Resident
off.
4, no!
2 tires off.
I think
He
I
does
think
not
he's
have the high
highlighted.
ground anymore.